evening, everyone.
And welcome to What Matters. We're Jojo and Jess, and we're your hosts for the next half hour. Thank you for tuning in. We're so grateful and excited that you can be here with us.
Yeah.
This is our third episode already.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Time flies. And I guess, last week we had a great show with Dannii. This week we were going to have Becky Bauer, the pastor and founder of the Melbourne Inclusive Church, but sadly her father passed away. And so I just want to send Becky our deepest condolences.
Send her our love.
And I guess we'll have to reschedule it and hopefully get you back on at another time. But we've got a big show planned tonight, and I guess before we bring on our first guest or bring on our guests, we want to do an acknowledgement. So I really want to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land where we gather and pay respect to the elders past, present, and emerging of all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander nations. And it was great having Dannii on last week, because she even further elaborated on why it's so important to do the acknowledgements and how we can all participate in the oldest living culture that is existent here in Australia.
Oh, no, thank you for that. And tonight, so we've actually got Dannii on, our co-host from Bride Prejudice tonight. She has been reaching out to us recently. Basically, she wants to talk about what's happening with their situation down in Melbourne and how these lockdowns are affecting her health.
Yeah.
So tonight we're going to let Dannii, have the mic and express to us how she's feeling, how it's affecting her health, her well-being, and what it is the conditions are like for her. Or for anyone probably going through this lockdown in Melbourne.
Yeah, and I think especially with, Dan Andrews obviously announcing the extension of
the emergency
state plan.
Yeah. So I reckon we should bring on Dannii.
Yeah, let's bring
Dannii.
But look, before we do, I just want to also let you know that we are streaming live from Ovo Play and from InView TV. And if you are tuning in for the next half hour, you know what? Go ahead, share this live stream, create a little watch party, and share this message, I guess, for anyone who's going through the situation. Because I know right now we're all probably, struggling, and our hearts are really with the Victorians, especially our Melbourneites. So without further ado, let's bring on Dannii from Bride Prejudice.
Hey guys, I've had a few people message me just saying if we're okay down here and what it's like in stage 4. Well, I'll tell you right now, it's not great. We are pretty much locked in our houses 24 hours a day. We go into a shopping centre and everyone's got obviously their masks on, and you used to be able to ask people to help you to get something if it was too high up. You can't even do that now. So our state is a complete mess, and it's very confronting for you to come here. We live a completely different lifestyle down here at the moment, and I just don't see it sort of going back to normal anytime soon. If you are out past 8 o'clock curfew, they will get you. I was out the other night picking up the pup from my mum's to bring him up because she had a shift at the hospital the following day, and I got pulled over, and I was lucky enough to not get a fine, but the amount of work I had to go through to prove that
20 seconds,
she
guys.
was a healthcare worker and that I was 5 k's out of my area was just an absolute nightmare. The days just tend to roll into each other, and the only thing we're allowed to really do is take the dogs to the park and go for a walk 1 hour.
Hi,
Hi. Hi guys, how you going?
Yeah, we're good, darling. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. I'm okay.
Watching that little video of you just made us feel really.
Yeah. I was just watching it as well. I was like, oh wow, yeah. It is, it really hits reality, really hits home when you say that. Yeah, so pretty much that's how it is at the moment. We're we're in our literally in, I call it a lockdown home prison, 22 hours a day, 1 hour for shopping and 1 hour for walking. That's it. Yeah.
Wow. I mean,
So
we're obviously up in Queensland and it's very, very different for us right now. I mean, our premiere on Sunday, we've had a little bit of a cluster going on and they've just increased our restrictions now, so they're minimising social gatherings at home, yet the shops are still open and there was people, lining at the front of an Apple store, yet we can't, have more than a gathering of 10. So I guess, we wanted to really bring you on to really, I guess, get a bit of first-hand, knowledge from you. You are in Melbourne. You are in this extreme lockdown, and just how I guess it's been going on, a few months now, and then they're extending it more and more and more. So
yeah.
tell us more. Do you feel like there's a light at the end of the tunnel right now, or how is it?
Look, I guess like when we all went into stage, I think all of us went into that stage where restaurants were closed. I think you guys got to that stage as well, didn't you? Or was it you just had a minimum people at the restaurants? I can't remember what Queensland went through and restrictions, but for us, it just feels like everything's just been closed for the last 5 months. Like, I haven't worked in 5 months. Denton hasn't worked within this stage period. He went back to work for maybe, I think, a month, and it's just it's so hard to explain because you wake up in the morning and you're like, what am I going to do with my day today? So it's the same thing daily. And I was speaking to a lady actually next door, who lives next door, and she's an older lady and she's really struggling as well. She's lost her business down in Sandringham, which is obviously a suburb just next to where I live. She runs a laundry, like an alteration place there, and she got quite upset today, and that was just outside on the front lawn. You don't get to have a lot of interaction with people anymore. It's really, really strange. You go to the shops, like supermarket Aldi, or Coles or whatnot, and like I said in that video, it's everyone's got their heads down and their eyes to the floor, and you just do your own thing. Yeah, it's interesting.
It's a bit like a
confronting.
So have you come across anyone that hasn't worn a mask yet?
Oh yeah, look, there's multiple people that don't wear masks, and I do understand why. First of all, if they do have a medical condition, of course that's fine. If they don't have any sort of belief in this virus, then I accept that as well. That's everyone's entitled to their own beliefs. It's just, I think that the way the masks could have been, I guess, enforced is probably eased in a little bit better from what we've seen. It's a massive adjustment. You've got this thing covering your nose and your mouth, and for me, when I'm starting to now jog daily, and they do say you don't have to wear your mask when you're jogging, but if you don't wear it, it's just like you're frowned upon. You're just pretty much frowned upon and go back inside. It was like today, I went out to my car because I had to move my car, and what did I do? I forgot to put my mask on, and there was people walking past, and they were looking at me, and 3 months ago, if you had a mask on, it was the reverse.
It's completely reversed.
I mean, it's a scary thing. Like, I have personally, I've seen footage of people who have done the exact same thing, and they've accidentally forgotten. They've gone to take the dog out to go bathroom or go toilet, and they've worn their mask, not on purpose, just by accident. You're still conditioning to that.
Yeah.
And what's happened?
Right.
attacked by someone in public. I mean, come on, like this. It's uncalled for, and that's just one example of many that's happening.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
see videos as well, obviously, of people being attacked where the police have used force
Yeah.
against people, and I guess that's just, it almost feels like, does it feel like you're living in a movie? Does it feel real?
Look, it feels surreal. It feels, I had the police here the other day. We had a complaint. Someone told the police that we had 10 people in our apartment, and we didn't. So it's just even things like that. As soon as someone walks down the driveway, people are dobbing you in, and I said, come in, guys. That's not an issue at all. That's fine. I respect their job. I respect what they do. I'm sure they do a great job. But in regards to, I guess, the whole pandemic, this is a new thing for everyone, and the videos that I have seen have not been. I don't personally agree with them, but that's just my own opinion. I was speaking the other day to you, Jojo, about a video, and you told me you hadn't actually seen that. So I was quite surprised with what you guys aren't actually seeing over there. So, yeah, interesting. Very interesting. Yeah.
So what was the video that you're talking about? I don't think I've seen it.
It was just about, it was an elder lady once again. She was in her 60s, I'd say, and she was just out the front doing some gardening, and obviously someone had called the police, and she didn't have her mask on. She was on her own property, and she just said to...
This is getting ridiculous, isn't it?
On your own property?
Yeah, it is, yeah. On her own property. And he, I won't repeat what I heard on the video, but it was quite abusive language, and went in and tackled the poor lady to the ground, and it cut off. So there's a lot of stuff on social media, hence the reason that I've pulled back from it. I haven't posted in a long time. I don't know if you've noticed, I've completely pulled myself away from social media because it's just constantly all about COVID, and nothing else. It's like there's nothing else going on in the world when there's so many other things. But this is the main talk point, and for people in Victoria, like I definitely know myself, I'm certainly struggling. I know it's not just us; it's also the healthcare workers. Like my doctor that I spoke to, he said they're all struggling. They're not getting a lot of support. I've had some messages from some nurses from just some of the bigger hospitals in Melbourne, just asking me to, I guess, share their story because they're too scared to share it because they're scared that they're going to lose their job. In regards to, I guess, just how their days are being run, it's just quite disgusting. Apparently, from what I've read, in regards to all the protective equipment and being able to get access to it. It's not that it's not there, it's on the premises, it's just it's all been locked up, so they have to sort of chase that one person around to get that key to go get their protective equipment. So these are obviously stories that are being sent to me via Instagram and Facebook, and yeah, they just said, can you please help us out and share this because no one's doing anything about it. So it's it's horrible. I really feel for the young kids as well. School, like I was speaking to a family down the park the other day, and the young girl, she was so upset. I'm like, oh, are you okay? And she's just like, you know, we're not allowed to socialise with any of our friends and all that sort of stuff. So, for my opinion, to be honest, I think it's now really starting to affect people because it can only take so much, right?
Yeah, and how long has
Take
it been?
so much.
How long has it been that you've been cooked? I've
Well,
lost track
so
of
yeah, I know. So you sort of do lose track of time. I think so. Stage 3 was very obviously quite similar. The only difference is that there is no shops open whatsoever now. So you've got supermarkets and, you know, as you would have seen per news or whatnot, Bunnings, but you have to have certain
And what do you think
be a
about the
tradie or
business?
whatnot.
Do you think the businesses they're gonna survive after this? Like, you've been locked down for so long, are people going to have jobs to go back to? Because you can tell daily
Well,
business building and crumbling.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, how are you going to go back? Like, you're probably thinking about it for yourself, your own security.
Oh,
Will your business
phew.
come back up?
And that's the next thing that I'm so concerned about for myself. I know that it's work. It's like, okay, that's fine that we're in a stage 4 lockdown, but you know, you want us to work. you can't leave your house, so you can't really look for work when you can't leave your house. And you know, obviously there's going to be a lot of issues when payments drop as well. That's going to cause a lot of issues down here. People are struggling with their rent. In regards to businesses who I've spoken to, a lot of them have actually already shut up shop. I was when I was down at the doctor's the other day, I was walking past and I could see like 10 shops in a row. Just sorry, we are closed due to COVID-19. We will not be returning. It's really sad, and it's just it's terrible. And mental health wise, I'm lucky. I don't sleep a lot. I used to go to bed quite early. Now I'm lucky to get into bed by at least 4 a.m. It's because it's just constantly on your mind. You're like, what's going to happen today? What's going to happen the next day? And you know, people want to speak up and they want to sort of share, you know, how they're feeling, but from what I heard today, they're just sort of a little bit too scared to, because they're scared that they're going to get in trouble or they're going to get a fine, or if you know what I mean. So it's a bit,
Yeah, I think there's been a lot, and even, you know, I mean, what we've seen around the world is people have been speaking up, and there's been professionals and experts and medical practitioners, people who are qualified.
But it seems these days, if you have an opinion, especially if you are affected right now, a lot of people have opinions when they're affected, you will get slammed, which is why I understand why you're too scared to talk out, to speak out. But the reality is, stay home saved lives. Are we really saving lives?
well,
How do you see it?
Especially with suicide at the moment, we know, like we've from personally, we know of quite a few people that have sadly taken their lives just through friends that have been to funerals, and it's been a huge increase. And we've had a lot of people, you know, you're not the only one. We've had other friends in Victoria reach out to us, especially with the new announcement that, you know, with what's been announced by Dan Andrews with the emergency, and saying we don't think, I don't, and they're like, I don't think I can handle it. I don't think I'll be able to survive. And so when we've got messages like that, it you know, makes, I mean, we're not the professionals here, but when you and it's been a debate, and I think for a lot of people, and I was reading yesterday about Sweden and Switzerland, and they didn't have lockdowns, and you know, they've they've been, you know, prescribing certain medication that other countries have not obviously have banned, and they're doing extremely well. So it's at the moment it's it's a really tough one, and it's really sad that we can't speak up. Is that we are generally concerned about what's going on.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is, like when you do say suicides, I've heard a lot about that as well down here from somebody, so a particular medical person I do know, you know, has lost 10 of their patients due to financial stress, and not for now, but for what happens when we come out of it, or if we come out of it, you know. And it's really sad, and you can just see the pressure that they're under, and the struggles that everything, I don't know, it's just taking a toll on everyone. And you know, you do your best to keep your spirits up high, and you do your best to uplift yourself, but you can only do that so much. Like for myself, obviously my weight loss has been a massive thing for me, but now I've achieved my goal, I'm like, okay, what's next? I can't really go look for work. I would love to work at the moment. I've actually seen so many jobs up in Queensland, and I'm like, I wish I could just get on a plane and go up and work there, but the Premier up there is we're shut out of that state for a long time, I think. So yeah, and in regards to Dan Andrews, at the start I could understand, but now because it's been dragging on for so long, yeah, I'm sort of going the other way on that one. That's another topic.
And I think, you know, what it feels like what's quite, you know, evident is that they're obviously talking about mandating their vaccine, and it feels like they're pushing to keep us all cooped up, locked down until they get their vaccine. So I mean, you're not a medical practitioner, but what's your view on the actual vaccine?
Yeah, look, I'm not big on that. If you know, a vaccine takes, you know, a good 5 years to even come out. I'm not too sure, but I know human trials are a good 5 years. It's just a little bit too quick to, you know, create a vaccine. Yes, I understand they've got really great. I believe it's from Oxford, this vaccine that they're talking about that's due to be coming out in December. I know. Well, I have heard that employers will be, if you know you do apply for work, you'll be required to have the vaccine to be able to work there. I personally wouldn't have it, just because of how quick it's been done. It's not. It might be okay now, but they don't know the long-term effects of it. Like what happens in the next 5 years, you know. Hence the reason why vaccines are obviously processed over a certain amount of time. Once again, not an expert, but I just, not on board.
We've got common sense, and we all know it takes a lot longer than a year to administer a vaccine. You know,
That's right.
And we're not going to go into the whole vaccine debate because that's not for us. That's another topic.
But I feel like as an Australian, a person who might be required to get it, I feel like we have the right to have an opinion
and have a choice.
Yeah.
That's the real argument here, is the choice. Do you have a choice?
Yeah.
Well, when you're being forced to have a job, is that giving you a choice?
Or if you're getting forced to
giving you a choice at all.
And to actually, have a life and be able to do the things that you want to do, it's almost we're going to be restricted because of
I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't mind if someone wants to have a vaccine, but if I don't want to, it should be my body, my choice, not the government's.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. At the moment, it's starting to really feel like in Victoria, because you do see the army around quite a bit. You may have seen the news that army has come in, and they actually have. They are quite they're quite spread out, but they're there. They're very much there, and they're in the presence of them is very much there. As a sense of there's a good gathering of 10 of them at a time, so that is quite confronting as well. So I'm starting to feel like with vaccines, with certain rules, I'm starting to feel a little bit like I'm being controlled by the government. It's you know, isn't it sort of, you know, a free country, as they say?
That's exactly right, Dannii. And you know, from you're not the only one thinking that way. We're all thinking the same.
We're all concerned.
Are we in a democracy?
And we're heading towards a communist state, you know?
Why are we being forced to do this, do that? I mean, there has to be a point where you wake up and you think enough is enough. I know we're trying to save lives here, but from what I can see, the collateral damage, the mental health rising, the suicides, are we really saving lives? I don't know.
Well, that's what frustrates me, is that you know, okay, the amount of people that supposedly do pass away from this virus daily. How many people pass away from cancer daily? How many people pass away from so many different other diseases than this virus? And it's never mentioned, you know. It's frustrating because suicide, when you guys talk about suicide, it isn't a topic that will ever be brought up unless someone brings it up. You never hear it on the news. I think I've heard it maybe once, and that's with someone that's obviously very famous, but it's just a topic that it's a topic that's very just not spoken about, and not spoken about enough, which is quite, you know, I really think that is something that needs to be spoken about more, because if people are feeling like that, and I can assure you there would be multiple people down here in Melbourne and Victoria, and I'm sure even maybe in Queensland, all around Australia, that are having those sort of thoughts, but because it's not spoken about, it's you know, what happens.
People are on their own. Yeah, and that's the thing, you know, like with they say with mental health, and look guys, you know, if you are struggling, we've put the number up for Lifeline. If you are struggling with mental health and, you know, you need help, you need someone to talk to, please call Lifeline. The number is 13 11 14. And, you know, and I know they say it's taboo, we can't talk about it, but look what's happening by not talking about it.
Yeah.
You know, by not talking about it, are we ignoring it, or are we talking about it? Are we encouraging? And I don't understand, you know, they go, oh, there's studies there. Well, clearly, by not talking about it, it ain't helping the situation. You know, people are cooped up in their own box at home.
Yeah.
We had a friend the other day, and she was at home and in a really bad state and hitting her head across the wall, and she was in Melbourne. And this is one of our really good friends, and it's so heartbreaking for us when we have people reaching out to us, you know, and they're really, really, really struggling right now, and it's a real, it's you know, we're in a really tough situation.
As good as it is to pick up the phone and call them, there's nothing better than physical human contact. That's what we need. We are social beings. We need that. That's love to us. And when you can't just drop everything and fly there and be there with your loved ones, you know, that's scary for people like us. We want to help, but what can we do to help?
Well, you're not allowed to leave your state, so it's hard. And, you know, people, I was like that in stage 3. I started to coop up in my room. I started to feel like this is never going to end, and it becomes just 4 walls, and it is very, if you, like, for example, you know, obviously, because we're not allowed out of our houses, and we're not allowed to go see our friends or our family, you're on your own, unless, you know, maybe you have certain different reasons or exemptions down here and permits, you can't physically, you're not allowed to go see people. And the people who are struggling the most are the ones that, they just need people to talk to, and they need a friend, or they need a family member. But the people that I've spoken to, they tell me that, well, they live, you know, X, Y, and Z away. We're not allowed to go see them. So yeah, I've heard quite a few stories, and it's starting to become a bit of a joke now. They really need to do something about it, because I think it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better.
Absolutely. Oh, darling. Well, look, you know, we really wanted to bring you on today, because we really wanted to hear from you. We know you're in Melbourne, and
I mean, it's good for people to hear these stories, because, you know, some people actually aren't affected. They're carrying on with their lives as normal, working from home, doing their thing. But really don't have a clue what's going on. But in your situation, you've lost your job. Denton's lost his job. You've been cooped up for God knows how long now. And when you have those things, those de-stressors, like, you know, going to do activities, going to the movies, going to see loved ones, going on a holiday, when those are all from you, how do you de-stress in times like these? And this is where we do need to come together and check up on our loved ones, check up on our friends, you know, do a Skype call, try and pick their vibration back up, because, you know, times are tough, and we do feel for you guys down there in Victoria. We feel so sorry for you, and we wish we could do more to help you.
I agree, guys. Like, and I'm going to say it, if you guys, whoever's watching right now, if you're feeling really down and lonely, you know, please pick up the phone, because if you don't, you know, it's gonna eat you. It's gonna consume you. And if you are a friend of that person and you're concerned of that person, pick up the phone, or, you know, do a FaceTime, because everyone needs someone. We can only, our brains can only handle so much.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Oh my God, Dannii, we've got to wrap it up now, but we want to thank you so much
guys.
for coming on last minute too as well. We really should.
It's not like I'm doing anything else.
We could be there right now. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing.
Thanks so much for having me.
We love you. And,
we love you.
We
Take care.
You too, guys. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Oh my gosh. Oh, she's so beautiful. Thank you, Dannii, for that. Like, you know, we need people to hear this stuff, because, I mean,
we know a lot of people are really, really affected.
In our own circle of friends, we have a lot of people that are very affected right now, and a lot of them live in Melbourne. And it was just
got people reaching out to us as well. So we really felt tonight we should do something about, you know, talk about mental health and talk about what people are going through, because we know a lot of people are suffering on their own. But like I said, you know, guys, reach out, please check on your friends, especially your friends in Melbourne. Check on your loved ones, give them a call, and look, if you are suffering with mental health, you know, please, you know, there are some resources available. There's Lifeline, and please reach out, because if you know, if you're not letting people know, if you're not reaching out, then we can't help you. So, look, thank you to everyone who's tuned in tonight.
Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in.
And next week we've got Leon Rua from Hacker for Life. So he does a lot of work in men's health. He runs an organisation in WA, and he really works with, you know, men who are suffering with mental health. So we're going to continue this conversation next week, because we know it's an issue that needs to be addressed. And, you know, I'm tired of people saying we can't talk about it. So we're going to talk about it next week again. So if you've got any comments, feedback, you know, let us know what you think. All right, guys. Anyways, wishing you all the best. Stay safe, guys, and we'll see you all again next week. Much love from
Take care.
Much love from us. See ya.
What matters.
It's all about passion. It's all about change. It's all inclusive. Every day out.